iOS 26, 1 week later, the good and the bad. We're going to talk about what I've experienced over a week with iOS 26 and why there's a lot of messes here, but also there's some good to this software. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and let's talk about what has changed in the first week after using this. And well, we haven't had any major changes because essentially we only have seen a software update to fix some crucial bugs for security in the very initial betas for mostly iPhone 16s. I actually did not update on purpose yet because I wanted to showcase that there is another update available, and I'm going to do it right after this video. It's a quick update. It's a surprising update because usually Apple doesn't release these until the next beta, but that has made a little bit of waves across the internet for being basically a weird release. People are thinking it was such a messy release that they had to already release an update. Really what it is I think we're skinning over iOS 18. We're putting a new liquid glass design basically, and all of these changes mean that this is going to need quite a few updates to go ahead and be super smooth, and that's my current take on it. So my initial expectations were that this software was going to be extremely smooth, but honestly it hasn't been. It's been functioning pretty okay, but it just has quite a few like choppy bugs here and there, and usually when I'm trying to showcase an example it doesn't happen. But mostly what I've been noticing is a lot of like just choppy animations and crashing applications. Again, it's hard to showcase this because bugs are one of those things that only appear when you're not trying to show it. They just happen randomly, like you'll be playing a game or you'll be doing something and it tends to just crash out. And that's kind of what I've been experiencing quite a bit with this. Also, I've been noticing that the phone has heated up quite a bit more under this beta, and these are not complaints. Like, I'm not like trying to say like, oh, I don't understand, like it's a beta. I understand it's a beta, this is going to happen, and I'm well aware of this. I'm just giving you my good and bad experiences over the past week. So like already, like I just opened a couple apps, I'm already starting to feel a little warm, which is not something I'm used to on production software. Now, scrolling through though, I have to say one of the good things is I've actually been enjoying specifically the liquid glass's light clear look. So I actually quite like this. I think it looks awesome, and honestly I think having this clear design along with your other ecosystem of products like your Apple iPad, your Mac, it's going to be pretty neat to have them all in the same order. Definitely a nice sweet customization that you didn't really have offered before from the Apple side. So I definitely like to see that they're opening up a little bit more to this customization. One thing that's bad about it though is that the third-party apps are like a lighter clear, whereas of course the native apps tend to look a little bit better. They just appear nicer, so they appear a little bit more darkened on the third-party stuff. But for the most part, I've definitely been enjoying the clear looking icons here with the liquid glass. Another good aspect of this software to me is going to be the tinted icons are now available in a lighter format. Before they were only in a darker version, but now you can get these in a lighter version, which is something that I didn't experience before, and I'm happy that it's here. And I actually said that I didn't like how the tinting was always too dark in iOS 18, but definitely that's something. You've seen right there, all the icons were appearing to kind of blink out, but not really showcase fully. That's very indicative of beta software. When you tint things, sometimes they will not even appear. So there's a chance that when you change your icons, they won't even pop up and show the image. You might have to re-enable that tint or whatever you were doing. Now, when it comes to stability, I have to say that it hasn't been the most stable, but you know, it hasn't been unusable either. It's definitely needs a lot of work, but at the end of the day, the A series chip inside of this one definitely still allows this phone to run everything pretty fast because we are on the latest iPhone 16 Pro Max with an Apple A18 Pro. But I did notice a much more choppy feel on older iPhones, so that's something to keep in mind. It's funny how Geekbench still says iOS 19, but overall the performance is still good. It's just the stability needs some work. I found that I do like the way you can scroll through when you do the long press on applications now. It actually looks pretty nice when you go through these items right here. It feels, I just have to say, it does feel natural. Like your finger slides and it glides with you. So this is a nice upgrade. I do like the way that looks here on iOS 26. So the battery life, as you would expect, has been pretty bad here on the latest beta for me anyway. What I mean by that is that it's draining like at least at a clip of like 5 to 10% faster every hour. That if you want really good battery life, I would not recommend it at this current time. I will wait till the public beta next month. So I want to talk about, is any of the new features already fading? So the new features, are they already fading for me? Are they still exciting? You might say, come on, Nick, you're only in the first beta. But honestly, with the way tech moves, I kind of move on to the next thing very quickly. I'm already thinking about the next phone launches by the time they're on beta 2. But honestly, the software, it feels to me after about a week of use, it just feels like a skinned version of iOS 18, like a liquid glass version of that. I do like the customizations, but the features are at the core. This still feels like the same thing as iOS 18. Some people would say it just doesn't look as good. Some people would say it looks way better. It really just comes down to personal preference. But again, Apple has pulled off another piece of software that at the root basically stays the same, doesn't anger its customer base, and is going to likely just be fine. Because if you don't put any of these customizations and you just leave it on default, the core apps is still a grid of icon. It still looks basically similar. We do just have a very just a different UI elements with the liquid glass. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about how they don't like the camera, but really, again, it's down to personal preference. But at the core, it's not like they changed the circle to circle icons or something like Vision Pro with the circular icon. So definitely, I like how when you swipe through here, you can see like behind there, like they would say glass. That has been kind of cool. And I also like in Safari, when you're in Safari and you kind of like scroll down like they showed in the event, I really do love how this gets out of the way. It gives you more content to see on screen. And also the visual elements across the OS being the liquid glass, they are neat to look at and definitely look polished. But at the same time, the core experience is not going to anger too many people because it's still at the core iOS. It's still basically similar to what it's always been. So I'm not overly excited, but I do like that it is a bigger change than what we're used to. So communications wise on this beta, the phone calls have been working fine. The messages app has been working fine. Some of the messages I sent didn't go through though on this particular phone, so I had to just mention that. So I just switched back to my main iOS 18 phone. Everything went through. So that's something to keep in mind on here. Maps works okay, so you can still use your applications. Just expect some crashes on here. And one of the things that disappointed me about this phone, and I don't think it's great, is there's still no split screen on this phone. I mean, all the enhancements to the iPad OS, but no split screen. I mean, come on, Apple. This is the most rudimentary, basic stuff on a phone. Almost every other phone out there that's not an iPhone has a split screen. I understand people, not everybody wants to multitask. There's science that shows that multitasking is not even a thing possible. But split screening, even if we're task switching, technically it's a great feature actually. Even if there's some kind of pop window, so I don't have to keep going back between app per app. This is one of the most annoying things about using my iPhone is that. And I really dislike this. It just feels so old that I cannot do a split screen on here. It's like, is this the very first smartphone? I feel like that sometimes because I have $1,000+ iPhone 16 Pro Max. Yes, granted, camera's amazing. Social media apps are amazing. Oh, it's got the status symbol, but it can't do a split screen. Mic drop. It can't do a split screen. It's 2025. So this is definitely still bad for iOS. All right, so this screenshot feature that's basically like circle to search, where you can just image search right here. This feature is pretty neat. I do quite like this. And the ability to ask ChatGPT is also quite neat. I am disappointed in the fact that we don't have major Siri upgrades, and you've seen that lag right there. Siri, to me, almost feels useless, honestly, compared to like the Gemini key on Android phones. So And Apple knows this. They talked about it in their recent interview with the Wall Street Journal. So I would like to see them improve that. Of course, obviously, Craig has talked about basically when they feel like it's a really good product, they'll ship it. So I'm being patient. We'll all be patient, but at the same time, when that's ready, that's really going to enhance the iPhone experience along with improvements to Apple Intelligence. So as you can see, it's still labeled beta under here, and that's a smart move. At least that area of the marketing is honest, because it honestly is feeling like a beta. Yes, you can use ChatGPT with this phone. You can use ChatGPT with basically any phone, and other chatbots like Grok, Microsoft Copilot, Claude, all the AI chat assistants out there. This phone can run them fine. But the AI integration it's just still really behind. So that is still a bad thing to me about iOS 26. I've seen a lot of comments about the control center not really looking that nice. I personally disagree. I think it looks really nice that you can see behind the control center, the applications, and there's a lot of visual elements that all just match up well with this version of the liquid glass. A lot of people say it's like a Windows Vista type of thing. Some people say it's a Windows Vista done better type of thing. But honestly, it's definitely a different look, and I do appreciate change. So I do like the control center personally. So to me, it would be a good upgrade. For some of you, it's going to be an absolute horrible one. Let me know your thoughts down below. A week later, I do have to say this is an excellent feature. The screen incoming calls, move to unknown callers, and SMS reporting. These are just, they were on Pixel phone before, but these are great to have here finally on iPhone. And this is one of the best features they stole from Android. So definitely I enjoy this a lot. Glad they put this here. This was definitely a needed feature. I also like how the visual glass or the liquid glass look here kind of extends into settings. You can kind of see how it all just kind of matches up on these little icons and settings. So again, Apple doing a great job with the software all like kind of matching up in each area of the phone. I do like that. It does feel very consistent. That's a good word for it, consistent. So the Translate app was already pretty good, but having a live translation feature that was found in iOS 16 is definitely going to be also, that was found in iOS 26 is also going to be quite great. You do have routes and maps, which I'm not using yet. And I showcased in my initial beta review, they talked about the widgets in CarPlay. We showcased CarPlay, how it also has a dark mode as well. But wrapping it up a week later here, I do have to state that should you install it? My answer remains no. It's still very, very buggy software right now. But will it be enjoyable by the time, I would say maybe the second or third beta is probably the sweet spot? Yes, I would say probably by then. And I also think the lock screen clocks having the ability to stretch now and kind of match up with you can see how big they can get. Hold on. We'll do this right here like that. And it kind of like falls behind the wallpaper. That does give it a little bit of a difference because a lot of times you don't want your iPhone to look exactly like other people's iPhones. So having a different clock screen on your lock screen, having a different, layout with the customizations, that's going to be really fun. So, and you've seen right there, I have talked about that animation coming into the phone. You can see there is a like bouncing effect. Some people are going to like that. I thought it looked a little choppy at first because I'm used to very fast animations. So definitely it's really going to be up to you. But has it been worth it? I think if you have a side phone, it's fun to play with. Yes, absolutely. But if it's your main phone, it's a definite not recommend right now. But overall, my total sentiment, my final conclusion is that I think it's a good progression for iOS because the way it's going to match up with the Mac OS, the iPad OS, with all those liquid glass elements on each platform really feels cohesive still. But there's still things missing that are they just need to do better, like Apple Intelligence, the Siri features, in addition, the split screen still not being here. Those are just the big downfalls for me. So thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know all your thoughts about iOS 26 down below in the comments, or iPad OS 26, or any of the new software. I'll catch you all later. Have a great Father's Day. Be sure to be well, and peace.